Finally, after numerous attempts, we are going to do the full review of the Budget Challenge gravel bike that we took on in December. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I know you've been waiting a long time for this, and I really do appreciate your patience on this matter. Hell, I got the best damn viewers on the whole platform, but before we go any further, would you just look at it? Now, apart from bringing up old memes that are fully and completely dead, here is what we did build. If you'll recall, the idea was that we wanted to build a budget gravel bike with parts that I either had or sourced without using the influence that this channel had. I couldn't just like reach out to my subscribers and try and get parts for free. I wanted to try and do this the same way that anyone who didn't have a following could do. And I think we achieved that. However, we did blow the budget somewhat out of the water. Something like $211. I'll put the price up here. Here is how much we went over budget. But the fun part about today is we actually get to take it out and really see if that extra 200 bucks might be worth it over what the control was. A stock, this is not stock, a stock purchased Poseidon X. Easily one of my favorite bikes in the fleet. A, to ride, B, to mess with. I love the price, I love everything about this bike, so it was a fun thing to take on to see if we could do something as good or better for the same price or less. That is what we created here. So very quickly, what do we have here? We've got an old 22-inch Norco Monterey hybrid frame. Swapped from threaded fork to threadless with a Brand X sealed bearing headset and an Easton EC90X cantilever fork. Cockpit wise, we have a 3T ARX stem with 3T Ergo Nova handlebars. Along with the levers being SRAM Rival, a left just brake lever, and a right 11-speed rear shifter. That shifter attached by cable to a SRAM Rival rear derailleur and an 11 through to 42 cassette. These SRAM Apex cranks with a narrow wide X-Sync 11-speed chainring in a size 42 tooth. The bottom bracket we also had to source new. To make things actually roll along, we've got a set of Vision Team 30 comp wheels. They are loose ball bearing with a just deeper 30mm look and a machined brake surface, but it is anodized over. This will wear out over time, but hell, this thing looks cool right now. Wrapped around the wheels are Wilderness Trail Bikes Nanos in size 40C with tubes. They are tubes. To clamp the wheels for stopping power, we have a set of Tektro, what were supposed to be Mini V's. Seat post and seat are actually just placeholders. Nick, who owns this bike, had his own that he wanted to put on, so I didn't include them in the price, really. Now, it's all well and good to talk about all the cool things that it has, or the way it was built, or the lack of money that we spent on it, but it all doesn't really mean anything, because the real important question is, does it suck to ride or not? And I think understandably so, question number one that needs to be answered is, how does it handle riding on like an asphalt, hard-packed ground? I don't think there's a whole lot of doubt when you see a bike with big aggressive tires on it that it's gonna be fine off-road. You kind of start to wonder, is it gonna be any good on-road to get to the off-road section? It'd be a good question to ask, but keep in mind, this thing was a hybrid, so it was a mix between road and a little bit of off-road. Since we swapped the fork to something a little shorter and brought the head tube down so that it's a little steeper, yeah, it just kind of feels like a cross bike now. Totally adequate for the road. I would have zero problems doing 100 kilometers on this. Tire choice. Considering this is the terrain that is probably going to be the end game, does an aggressive tire like the Nano make sense? And in my opinion, yes, it does. I based my decision for tire choice for this project completely off of what the majority of transcontinental racers use. And if Wilderness Trail Bikes' website is anything to be believed, the Nano is kind of the tire of choice. This is kind of the third time I've used them, and currently speaking, those claims tend to be true. So is it going to be good enough for the thing that you're like a little bit worried about when it comes to building a gravel bike? Yes, completely. But what about off-road? Gravel stuff. I'm kind of thinking it should go without saying that, of course, this thing feels at home on stuff like this. The geometry really feels no different than any other cross bike I've ridden. They all have their little differences, their nuances. But if I threw someone on this blindfolded, I don't think that they could tell you that it was wrong. But maybe, just maybe, that's somewhat telling as to what you can do with parts that you have laying around versus buying something new instead. I would be very happy to ride this thing every day, just as much as I would any of my other bikes. This berm here, man. I keep seeing things that might be cool to ride, but maybe they're not. All right. It accelerates fine. The tire pressure is so low that it takes a little bit away from it. You wouldn't know if the frame was stiff or not. I think probably the most fun part of this is that the frame is so beat up already that you don't have to be super worried about rocks coming up and hitting it. If those noises don't bother me. Where does that go? Now, I think it goes without saying that, of course, the shifting is perfect and crisp. Every single part on this is brand new. Shifter, new. Chainring, new. Cassette, new. Chain, new. Derailleur, new. It really shouldn't even be part of the review. When you're doing a build like this, you can pick any drivetrain that you want. The world is your oyster. You can spend as much or as little as you want. I think we spent the right amount here. And the beauty that this has over the Poseidon is it's a clutch rear derailleur, very quiet. I was just in there. I'm glad I'm not in there now. One true bummer, no matter how hard I've been trying, is that no matter what, the decorative finish that's on the machine brake surface is gonna be gone. Sorry, Nick. Speaking of brake tracks and brakes, the brakes on this thing are working awesome, which honestly is somewhat to be expected because they do have that longer arm, a lot more mechanical advantage. In my opinion, the way the brakes sit right now, the power that they have is unreal, and the pads do sit at a tolerable position in relation to the rim. I think they are far enough away. But again, the opportunity to have the correct pull ratios is here, so we should take it. I'm serious, they work so good. There's also a couple of other minor, yet sort of self-interest benefits to this build. One being, it's a Norco hybrid. If anything happens to it, who cares about warranty? You just get a new one. They're a dime a dozen. They're everywhere, and you got all the parts to put on it. It also uses the most generic derailleur hanger that is available, meaning when you are riding around on those very stick-infested wood trails that you do tend to take bikes like this on, it doesn't matter. You can get a new one at any bike shop at any time. As a matter of fact, I would recommend having a few spare ones in your own home shop like this one. Hell yeah, brother, I do like a bike that's got some dirt on it. All right, now let's answer the question, is it any good? Yes! Yes, it's so good. But truly, how could it not be? The only thing that you would ever even be a little bit concerned about is the frame. Everything else is brand new, brand name parts. You might be a little bit concerned that the geometry might be off by a little bit, but we've already determined that that's not the case. Very capable, very good end product. I'm truly not interested in giving it up. However, it is too big, so. Okay, now slightly tougher question. Is this better than a stock Poseidon S for $699.99? And if you're to ask me, for my true opinion, being a very big fan of Poseidon and everything they do, yes, this as a budget build for only $200 more than this, yes, better bike all around. I only give it a slight penalty for not having disc brakes. Truly, in every way, these V-brakes, even though the pull ratio is not right, work better than the stock brakes that come on this thing. This, of course, you do have the option of upgrading to being a far superior bike than this is, but out of the gate, for $200 more to build something that is so unequivocally yours versus something that you can buy on the internet with literally everything you need and out of the box ready to go. That being said, the next question, should I do this? Does it make sense for you to go and try and do a budget gravel build, learn everything, make the mistakes even that I, an experienced mechanic, made, and try and come out ahead of this? Not unless you're interested in the tinkering and the thrill of the chase. Probably not the satisfying yes or no answer that you were hoping to hear. I guess that's the crappy thing about subjective subjects.